Hi, welcome back to Sherry's Crocheted Happiness. This is my finished knight's beanie. I have the crest in the background there, and the shield. And the face shield is up on top right now, but it can slide down to go into place there. And it can easily button off on the sides if you want to just wear it as a beanie without this on there. But it's kind of nice that it's just fits right on top and looks just like a knight's helmet. So I have another one here. So this was for my 3-year-old, and I have another one that's an adult size, and I was just finishing this one up. Crest is already sewn on. What I did was I laid this flat in half, and then I took stitch markers at the top and the bottom, and I stitch markered them on. So you can see what I did here. I put the stitch marker through both my crest and my beanie at both the top and the bottom, and that kept it in place so that it would sew on as straight as possible. Okay, and then you open it up, and then it's right even in the back. I started on the top where my first circle was, where I did my first single crochets to start the beanie, and then I just went to the bottom. Okay, all right, so then to button on my shield, I found this really cool bag of buttons at the thrift store the other day, and they're a bunch of just gold buttons, all sorts of different ones. There's ones with bows on them. It's just a whole bunch of really fun metallic-y kind of buttons, and there's even some ones in here that are gemstones. Just all sorts of, and they're all sorts of sizes and shapes. And anyways, this is what I decided to use. I used it on this one as well because I think it looks kind of military-ish a little bit, and that a knight kind of reminds me of a military. So I used it on the one beanie, and I'm going to use it on this beanie. You, I'm sure, can do whatever buttons you want on yours. But it's just kind of fun to look through here and find all the different ones. There's even some antique ones, and there's even some like rose gold ones. And anyways, I kind of have this addiction with buttons, and I feel like I could just look at them for a while and just sit here and look at the different ones. So anyways, I'm gonna sew these buttons on. Let me get this guy out of the way, and I am gonna sew them on. I have this big pile of scraps over here, and I'm gonna sew it on with, oh, I even have a dark color which would work better. All right, dark yarn, my buttons. Okay, so I've got this folded in half, and the button on the pattern, it shows, it kind of goes in this is the top of my beanie, this is the bottom. It kind of goes in this corner right here. So let me do that real quick. And then this has the kind of, it has the little circle on the back, so you can kind of tuck that through your stitches back there and pick up your yarn and pick up that hole. And because this one's going to get a lot of use, I'm going to go through it a couple of times. And then I'm going to tie it off with a knot, and I'm going to tighten it down. I just want it to make sure it does not come off. And snip off the excess. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And my buttons do have a little bit of a pattern on there. I don't know if you can really see that very well. So I am paying attention to how I put my button on. I don't want my button to be upside down. I want it to be design to be facing the right direction. Okay, so I'm going through this guy. So I'm picking up some of my material, some of my yarn, and well, I totally missed it that time, but picking it up and going through my hole to sew the button on. And then we'll do it one more time, and then I'm just going to cinch that down and tie it off. Pretty simple. And then I'll just snip this excess off. And then these little tails that are on here, kind of hard to see right there, I'm just going to tuck them in just like I would a tail on my crocheting. It just kind of finishes it off. I don't know that it's something that's really necessary to do, but it just makes it look finished. Okay, so there's that. My buttons are upright, facing the same direction, and feel like they're pretty close in the same spot. All right, so let me take this one off and we'll put this one on. Okay, there's my crest on in the back. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just slide on. So I made one a little bit smaller for my kid size beanie, and I chose not to put both the holes in there because after making this one with 2 holes, I'm not quite sure why there is 2 holes. It might be so that you can make it a little snugger or looser, but I decided not to do that on the second one, and I think it worked out just as well. Okay, get that stitched in there or buttoned on in there. I think I have one on the, I didn't button them on the same hole. All right, let me get those buttoned on the same hole real quick, then it will look even. Oopsie. I have little visitors in my craft room tonight. My dogs are coming in and out. Well, there we go. A little struggle there. All right, so there's the visor. And Rhonda, this one's yours, if you catch my video. And then that just slides right up on top, just like on the other one. These beanies never really fit the mannequin heads very good, but they do definitely fit a person's head normally. They don't cover up your nose. So there's that. So that's my completed project. Check out the last video on when I started this, and there's a link to the pattern in the comments. It is a paid pattern, so go check it out on Etsy. And check out Sherry's Crochet on Facebook. And until next time, keep crocheting and stay healthy, everybody.